He was being evicted from one of the finest, most historic homes in England, stripped of his last remaining royal honors, and yet, Prince Andrew's demands weren't shrinking, they were growing. In fact, they have reached a staggering crescendo that is now causing significant new tensions for King Charles III. Andrew isn't just asking for a quiet, smaller cottage to retreat to. He is now reportedly demanding a sprawling, luxurious residence, a massive 6 or 7 bedroom mansion on the prestigious Sandringham Estate. But that is only the beginning of the extraordinary price tag King Charles must now consider paying just to finally secure his troublesome brother's quiet departure from Royal Lodge. Hello dear viewers, and welcome back to the channel. Before we dive into the staggering details of this royal standoff, please take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe. Your support helps us continue bringing you the deepest insights into the British royal family. For months, the saga surrounding the Duke of York's residence has been a persistent, embarrassing headache for the newly established reign of King Charles. The king has been clear. Andrew must relinquish the keys to Royal Lodge, the sprawling 30-room Grade 2 listed mansion he has occupied since 2003. But as the deadline looms and the pressure mounts, Andrew has reportedly dug in his heels, refusing to move unless a truly astonishing set of conditions are met. The latest report suggests that the delayed move to Sandringham Estate, the very estate King Charles had intended as a soft landing spot for his younger brother, has sparked what sources describe as yet another bitter dispute between the two siblings. Andrew, the disgraced former royal, is reportedly insisting that he simply wants to be treated fairly, as he gives up the lease on one of the most magnificent private residences in the entire royal portfolio. But what exactly does fair treatment mean to Prince Andrew? The specifics, as uncovered by a source speaking to the Daily Beast's royalist column, are truly eye-opening, revealing the seismic demands Andrew has placed on the sovereign. First, as mentioned, is the accommodation itself. Andrew is not interested in the modest 4-bedroom property initially suggested for him on the Sandringham grounds. He is reportedly asking for a dwelling large enough to accommodate his entire extended family and entourage, a significant 6 or even 7-bedroom house. This demand alone indicates that Andrew has no intention of scaling back his lifestyle or presence, despite his complete removal from public duties. But the real financial burden and the source of the most intense friction lie in the personnel. According to The Insider, Andrew did not stop at demanding a grand house. He brazenly went on to ask for a full complement of personal staff, including highly specific roles: a dedicated cook, a professional gardener to manage his new grounds, a diligent housekeeper, a personal driver, and, critically, a full round-the-clock police security detail. Let us pause for a moment to consider the sheer cost and audacity of these requests. These are the demands typically associated with a working senior royal, fully funded by the sovereign grant and enjoying the privileges of public office. Privileges Andrew has been definitively stripped of following the fallout from his association with Jeffrey Epstein and his subsequent public disgrace. Yet, Andrew remains defiant. The source close to the former Duke of York claims that he feels he has done everything asked of him in the process of his public withdrawal, and fully expects a high level of reasonable treatment in return for vacating the lease on his current home, Royal Lodge. Andrew has done exactly what has been asked of him, and he just wants to be left alone, the tipster revealed. He is giving up the lease on one of England's finest houses and expects to be treated fairly. This statement, however, requires a closer look at the concept of giving up the lease. Andrew's tenure at Royal Lodge was governed by a 75-year lease agreement, signed back in 2003. While he has been responsible for the maintenance and refurbishment costs, which reportedly ran into the millions, paid for largely by the late Queen Elizabeth II, that long-term lease holds significant value. Andrew is not simply moving out, he is being compelled to relinquish a major asset with decades remaining on its term. This is why, as former courtiers have suggested, the issue was always destined to come down to a high-stakes financial negotiation, or, to put it plainly, money. The experts suggest that King Charles is not just offering Andrew a new home, he is effectively executing a financial buyout of the remaining leasehold on Royal Lodge. This is a complex legal and financial maneuver, and Andrew, recognizing the leverage he holds, is determined to maximize his return. Andrew is essentially being bought out of the lease, so he will haggle over every last detail of the deal, one courtier explained. This explains the minute haggling over the size of the house, the number of staff, and the guarantee of security. Andrew is treating this entire eviction as a severance package negotiation, demanding compensation for the loss of his beloved, enormous home. The backdrop to this tense negotiation is crucial. King Charles is not only trying to manage a difficult brother, but also trying to manage the public perception of the monarchy's finances. Royal Lodge, once vacated, is reportedly earmarked for Prince William and Catherine, the Prince and Princess of Wales, who require a larger, more suitable residence closer to Windsor Castle to raise their family and run their demanding royal operations. Andrew's refusal to budge, therefore, is not just a family squabble. It is holding up the strategic restructuring of the monarchy itself. But this escalating financial row comes immediately after King Charles delivered what many observers consider to be the final, crushing blow to his brother's already decimated royal standing. In a move of definitive public demarcation, Charles formally stripped Andrew of his last remaining royal honors, a clear signal that the king views his brother's connection to the institution as purely familial, devoid of any public status or privilege. According to a formal notice published in the Gazette, the official public record, the king ordered that the name of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor be removed from the official rolls of two extremely prestigious bodies, the Order of the Garter and the Royal Victorian Order. The significance of these two orders cannot be overstated. The Order of the Garter is the most senior and oldest order of chivalry in the United Kingdom, founded in 1348. To be a Knight of the Garter is arguably one of the highest honors the sovereign can bestow. While Andrew had previously been stripped of his military titles and the use of the title His Royal Highness, retaining his position within the Order of the Garter, a personal gift from the monarch, had been a quiet, lingering concession. By removing him from both the Garter and the Royal Victorian Order, Charles has completed the process of dismantling Andrew's public identity. He is now officially just a brother, not a working royal, and certainly not a figure deserving of the trappings he is now demanding. This decisive action by Charles was meant to close the chapter on Andrew's public life, yet it appears only to have spurred Andrew to increase his private demands. The decision to delay his move to Sandringham, coupled with the insistence on a massive house and a full personal retinue, suggests Andrew believes the king owes him not just fairness, but a continuation of his accustomed, luxurious standard of living, paid for by the king's private funds or the Duchy of Lancaster revenues. The property designated for Andrew at Sandringham was initially viewed as a compromise. It would keep him on royal property, close enough to the family, but in a smaller, more manageable residence suitable for a private citizen. However, the reported rejection of this smaller property and the insistence on a 6- or 7-bedroom mansion shows that Andrew is resisting the fundamental concept of downsizing. He is resisting the reality of his reduced status. This entire affair is a fascinating, if depressing, look at the immense financial and personal cost of managing a royal crisis. King Charles is faced with a difficult choice: cave into Andrew's demands, thereby incurring significant ongoing expense for staff, housing, and security, and risking public outcry over the lavish treatment of a non-working royal, or stand firm, risking a prolonged and potentially explosive public feud with his own brother. If Charles agrees to fund a personal cook, gardener, housekeeper, driver, and police security detail for Andrew at Sandringham, he is essentially re-establishing a shadow royal court for his sibling, albeit one operating entirely outside the formal structure of the monarchy. This would be a tremendous financial commitment, likely costing hundreds of thousands of pounds annually, perhaps even exceeding $1 million, depending on the level of police protection required. The cost of the police security alone is often the sticking point in such arrangements. Andrew has previously faced serious security concerns, and guaranteeing police protection is a necessity for the royal family. But who pays for it is the crucial question. If Charles is forced to foot the bill privately, it is an enormous imposition. The key phrase here, repeated by Andrew's camp, is that he expects to be treated fairly. But what is fair when one is being compensated for the loss of a 75-year lease on a palatial estate? while simultaneously being held responsible for the scandal that necessitated the move in the first place? The former courtiers were right. This is entirely about the haggle. Andrew is leveraging the king's desire for a quiet life, a clean ledger, and a smooth transition for William and Catherine into Royal Lodge. Every extra bedroom, every staff member, and every security officer Andrew secures as a small victory in his personal war against his enforced exile. The delay in moving to Sandringham is not logistical, and it is tactical. It is a negotiation tool, forcing Charles to engage with the demands before the keys to Royal Lodge are finally handed over. As the royal family attempts to project an image of streamlined efficiency and financial responsibility in the modern era, the continued saga of Prince Andrew remains a heavy anchor, dragging down both their reputation and their balance sheets. King Charles must now decide whether the price of peace, a 7-bedroom mansion and a full staff, is worth the cost of ending the Royal Lodge crisis once and for all. What are your thoughts on this truly extraordinary situation? Should King Charles stand firm, or should he pay the hefty price to ensure his brother finally retreats into private life? Let us know your perspective in the comments section below. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you found this discussion insightful, please remember to hit that like button, subscribe for more royal deep dives, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you in the next video.